What's up? I'm St. Andrew from Fairfield, Iowa originally, transplanted to California, and now I live in Los Angeles where I make music all day.
Greetings, I'm Professor Nalepa here with St. Andrew. What's up? Andrew Swanson in the house. So you were a film major at Chapman, but then you graduated and you've pretty much been doing music full on.
Yeah, well, I came out here in the first place to go to Chapman Film School, did my whole director, senior thesis and stuff, but really just found that my strengths really reside in sound design. So basically after graduation, got hooked up with this man called Adam Freeland, DJ from London, UK. Started producing for him. He sent me stems to remix one of his classic songs, We Want Your Soul. And then from that I went home, winter break, made a remix, sent it to him, and then he invited me to come to his house to potentially do something for him. Ended up turning into an 8-month job writing music with Adam Freeland. So it was kind of
pretty awesome
because I graduated film school, not a potential job in sight. It was the recession pretty much. So like turned out that making music was a viable option for a career.
So now, because of that experience working with Adam, you've actually been able to parlay that into working with other producers. Who are some of the people you've been working with?
Well, basically, I worked with Adam till about November of '09, and then took a little hiatus after that and basically just worked on my own music. But in between then, I was working with a couple local LA DJs, Frankie Chan and this guy Skeet, who's also from Iowa, ironically. So those are the two people that I've been steadily working with, helping with various stuff. And then more recently, just approaching through those channels and those connections, working with Diplo, and then through Diplo and Frankie, also Switch, and then through Switch, I've just recently worked with Santo Gold. So trying to like work my way up the ladder somehow, but it's been kind of like amazing. Like I'll just get telephone calls from random people asking for help.
You've actually had a number of opportunities to work with some very established artists. Do you ever have a situation where you have a gut instinct as a musician and a producer, but then you have to honor their style or their choices, and they're paying you, so they're in charge. So you have to make this edit, even though you disagree. How is that?
Well, sometimes
has that ever been challenging for you in the studio?
Sometimes it's frustrating when you have a way that you think it should be done and then the other person, but that's just part of learning how to work with somebody. Like when you make beats on your own, it's easy because whatever you do is the idea. Actually, sometimes it's harder because then you start arguing against yourself. But working with like Freeland, for example, like this was like my first time working with somebody this big, so I was definitely more on the just trying to do as much as possible and maxing out everything with chord structure and music and just taking songs that he's made and really like stretching them out to its limit. But sometimes that doesn't sound good at all, especially when you're trying to work with somebody who has already has an established sound. So like you really just have to like realize what the vision that the artist wants and then figure out how they would have made it. So you kind of just like assume the role of that person. It's kind of a weird exercise.
When I first met you, you were making more sort of an electro sound, and it's been fun watching your style evolve over the years as you've devoured all the music that's been happening.
You always start making stuff that you think you're gonna like making, and then at the end, you kind of realize that you're about something else. I feel like, I don't know, it's always like a transformation taking place. Music is just a representation of like every person. There's music everywhere, and every person that tries to make music is basically just a filter for that music that's already in existence. So I'm merely a filter of all this creative consciousness that exists in the world. Living in Los Angeles, there's so much new music coming out every single, week that it's just like, if you're set on one specific genre, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Mm-hmm. So it's really important just to listen to everything and try and make everything.
Yeah.
And whatever my filter is at the time, be it because I was listening to dubstep or hip hop or Tom York or something, it's gonna change.
It sounds like you're taking it back to your transcendental roots,
Yeah.
transcendental meditation roots from Fairfield, Iowa. So
Yeah.
That's actually an interesting story. So can you talk a little bit about that? So I mean, you grew up in a small, Fairfield, Iowa is pretty small town.
Yeah, I grew up in a rural town, population less than 10,000 people. Basically we just meditated twice a day. It's transcendental meditation. It's nothing scary or freaky or cultish. It's just a yoga for your mind, basically. But it's basically just a stress-reducing technique that, filters into other areas of your life. So I'm never stressed out, really. I mean, I get stressed out, like, when I have too much coffee or something, like, I'll start freaking out. But most of the time I meditate and then write music for, like, 6 hours after that. So it's really
That
helpful.
was the funny thing Adam would tell me about. I would ask him, I'd check in and see how things were going. He's like, yeah, sometimes people, they need to go and take a smoke break or something. He's like, Andrew would be like, would you mind if I gotta meditate real quick. And then he would go, and 10 minutes later he'd come back and be super sharp, laser focused, and get a ton of stuff done for me. Where do you see all this going for you? I mean, you for a while there, you were working, co-producing with a number of artists. Are you now more in a zone of really, have you found a sound that you want to really develop? Are you still searching?
I don't know. I mean, I see myself as like a producer working with hopefully like pop artists or something, or regular singers, but also maybe one day being able to put out an album and touring off that album for a little bit. I think the point is that in this world now, like, you can pretty much do, you don't have to focus on one specific area of expertise. It's actually more important just to have as many different skills as possible, because you never know what job's going to come your way, and if you have the skills to do that, then that's the most important. The music industry's changed so much in the last 5 years, where the way technology is going, I mean, it's all about doing it yourself. And me and Fuzz, who was on the show earlier, is starting our own record label and just doing it completely on our own, because there's no loss. Like, the only thing you have is to gain. So it's just because of all the tools on the internet that you can utilize to distribute music and get fans and play shows, that like there's really no reason why anybody shouldn't be doing it right now. I mean, even just for fun, like if it's good and you think you have like talent, you should definitely try and put your music out there. What up? Just want to shout out Fuzz, Nalepa, Virtual Boy, It's Not Over Quebec. You can find me at soundcloud.com/0StAndrew0 or twitter.com/0StAndrew0. And yeah, check it out.